Good morning, everyone. It's serotonin. I am doing this video at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's something I've been planning on doing all day, but I needed sort of the time to get my head around this. I've been watching a lot of videos lately, and I'm going to refer to some of the ones that I've been posting, um, just about sort of the galactic place that we're in right now, and um, it's really hard to sift through so much of the false narrative that's put out there and stuff. And there's a part of me that really doesn't want to kind of go with the flow on a lot of like the mainstream media stuff. Like I have Scientific American, old copies and stuff. I like to collect stuff like that and Omni. And we've been told for a long time now that we're living in some kind of a computer construct. Um, or a holographic universe, that kind of thing. Um, I've also been looking a lot at Mr. MMBB333. I believe that's his name. And I always thought he was a little bit of controlled opposition because he has one of those Hollywood voices. Like people who, do posters for movies and stuff. Anyway, he shows some pretty amazing stuff. And I've been looking a lot at the sun simulators idea and just being out there, being old enough. I'm in my 40s. I remember a time when I could there was no such thing as sunscreen. I remember, for most of my childhood, you just didn't put sunscreen on because that's just not what you did. And I didn't put suntan lotion on either because I was a kid. But I just sort of, you notice the sun is different. When you're in the direct sun these days, it's like hot, hot, hot. And when you're not in the direct sun, it's pretty bitterly cold. Thinking about all of the sort of down the rabbit hole news and everything. And I've come to a conclusion. I have an idea of where we are. And I don't expect everyone to agree with this, so this is just my theory of where we are. And okay, so all the evidence that I have gathered so far that fits with me tells me that we are a created body. We were like a lab creation. And according to Thomas Williams in the For Russia with Love series, um, we all kind of appeared at the same time on the planet, although there were lineages of lighter skinned people that apparently were here for much longer, but for the most part, humanity kind of appeared all at the same time. I think with the exception of the Rh negative bloodline. Um, and, and here we are chilling out and waiting. And I was suddenly remembering a movie that I'd seen in the 90s called Dark City. And I remember when The Truman Show came out, I was a bit ticked off at The Truman Show because I felt like it was basically Dark City light, like the digestible version of Dark City. And Dark City was really an impressive movie. And for those of you that don't know it, I don't know if I'm really going to be giving too much away because it's a lot like The Truman Show, but I think I've already given the plot away. But anyway, Dark City is it's sort of a steampunk dystopian um, movie, which is kind of why I put my dystopian photo stuff from the years of my life when I was a pretty negative thinker. But anyway, in Dark City, there is a group of people. So they're like these kind of non-humans that live down deep inside underneath this city called Dark City. And every night they do this weird sort of noise that they make where they all congregate together and they make collectively this noise, and they kind of become one brain, and they in making this noise, what happens on the surface of the city is that all the buildings relocate, and every morning everybody wakes up with a complete memory wipe, and they go about their new day, and all the buildings have been changed, and this, that, and the other. So what's I find very interesting is Dark City to me is kind of like a macrocosmos or a microcosmos of the universe and of life. So if the city is the world and each day is a life, so we go to sleep every night, we forget where we are, and then we wake up the next day and we live our life anew, and everything has been relocated. So the main character um, goes through the first night of not forgetting, and so he wakes the next day and he realizes that everything has been repositioned, and he starts to recognize people that don't know who he is, or he starts to be recognized by people he doesn't know. And people are calling him by different names and stuff, and then the next night he goes to sleep again, or he doesn't sleep or whatever, and he decides to stay up, and he watches the city being shifted around. And there's so much drip disclosure and so many things that we do. Okay, I feel like I'm beating around the bush. I'm setting you guys up too much for the big reveal, which is not all that big. But I do think we're in a petri dish. I think we're in a holding cell or a holding tank, and we are waiting to be allowed to be part of the galactic community. Now, other people have said this the whole time, where we've been quarantined, we've been cut off, this, that, and the other. I don't believe that. I don't think we ever left the lab. That's where I'm starting to think now. I'm starting to think that we were created in a quarantined something, giant petri dish or whatever, and they wanted to wait so many million years or whatever it was, whatever the time period was, so that we wouldn't either self-destruct or kill everything else around us. They have kept this experiment that we are hidden away to keep the rest of life, of galactic and universal life safe from us. Either that, or we really are, alone, and we're in God's palm, and all we are is all we are. So I don't know, but I get this feeling, if we are sharing our consciousness with all kinds of different physical beings and stuff like that, if that is the case, um, my guess is that we never left the lab. We were just right now what they're calling the Great Awakening or the Ascension or whatever. It's literally the experiment requirement minimum time is up, or maximum time, or safety time, or whatever. It's finished. That's why all eyes on the universe are on us. They've all shown up to see if, little Jimmy's project worked out, or what have you. And that's why it's a big celebration, and everyone's excited, and everything's, happening. We're like Pokemon, and we're all, we're ramping up together. Anyway, let me know what you think. I know this is kind of wild and crazy talk, and it's 3 in the morning, and I was gonna watch Flat Earth British sub video, and then suddenly realized, I don't know why, but I had to watch 2 videos by ABC. I don't know if you guys remember that band from the 80s. So I don't know, I'm just following bizarre instincts right now. And then after I finished watching 2 videos, music videos from the 80s, I felt compelled to make this video. And now I have to ignore my cat, who's asking to go outside at 3 o'clock in the morning, for the next 10 minutes before I go to bed, because she's already meowing and freaking out. Can you hear her? Okay, this whole conversation has rapidly declined to boring pleasantries. So I bid you a good morning. I hope you have slept well, are sleeping well currently. And God bless. And let me know what you think of my theories. Okay, bye guys. Have a great one.